I'm a 34-year-old marketing manager at a fashion company. Good for you, lady. Really good. Holy crap. And I met this great guy. Let's call him Alex. Why? What? People, why? Through a mutual, because people call me Alex. All right. Through a mutual, he better be great. Through a mutual friend a few months ago. We had an instant connection, and we've been seeing each other regularly ever since. Good. That's really good. I'm hoping he's the one who's initiating the contact. I'm hoping he's the one who wants to see you every day. And I'm hoping that in the beginning, you sort of didn't let him see you every day, right? Because this is the thing, is that you want to put some barriers up from time to time, at least in the beginning, right? The reason why is because what really creates the connection is contact, but what solidifies it is when you're away from the person, because that's when they begin to idealize you and fantasize about you. Alex is a high value man. Okay. He's successful. All right. Is in the fashion industry. Okay, good. However, lately I've been feeling like he's pulling away a little bit. Okay. He used to text me and call me other times and make plans for me for the weekend. Okay, so you guys saw each other on the weekend. Good. But now he takes longer to respond and seems less interested in making plans. All right. I'm not sure if it's just my imagination or if he's really losing interest in me. Okay, I don't want to come across as needy or pushy, but I just don't want to lose him. The truth is that sometimes he kind of intimidates me. I value, what do you mean intimidate me? Intimidate you? Okay, all right, so you tend to get nervous around him. I value your opinion, and your channel has helped me in the past, so I want to ask for your advice. How can I navigate this situation without chasing him or making him pull away even more? How can I show him that I am a high value woman who's worth pursuing? Okay. First, I think it's natural for relationships and for a connection with someone to undulate, right? Like for me, I'm an artist. There are days throughout the year where I don't even paint, where I don't want to paint, right? My passion for art is not always at peak. Sometimes it's low, sometimes it's high. But eventually, everything equals out at the end, right? It goes up and down, And it's the same thing with relationships, right? Sometimes things undulate where you're interested and your interest declines a little bit, but then your interest goes up. It's a natural thing, right? But I think that if you've been with the guy and for a few months and he's pulling away, and I always say in the beginning, you should let the guy pull away within the first month or two. Why? Because you guys are still not nothing. You know what I'm saying? But if you've been with him for a few months, 6 months, and you guys have a sort of a relationship, you have the right to tell him, hey, Tyrone, we're gonna call him Tyrone. Hey, Alex, is everything okay, man? Lately you've been a little distant, right? There's nothing wrong with doing that, right? In fact, being that direct is attractive.
If you are unsure of a course of action, do not attempt it. Your doubts and hesitations will infect your execution. Timidity is dangerous. Better to enter with boldness. Any mistakes you commit through audacity are easily corrected with more audacity. Everyone admires the bold. No one honors the timid.
When you are that direct in the beginning, first few weeks, it's a little bit of a turn off, right? Because you don't know him too well. But if you feel like you know him, there is nothing wrong with communicating that. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, you're being distant, what's going on? Just making a bold move like that is attractive. It doesn't push a guy away. It actually shows your confidence, right? Because a lot of people would just keep quiet and act like nothing's happened and complain about it. Don't complain. Speak to him. Ask him what's going on, what's in his mind, right? Don't do it over text. Do it in person. Because what you want to do is get clear answers. If you guys want to have something serious, you guys have to get some clear answers. And there's nothing needy or pushy about that, to be honest with you. He used to text me and call me all the time. So what you want to do is, before you meet him, like, first of all, the next time you see him, definitely communicate that. But before that, just mirror him.
Do what your enemies do, following their actions as best you can, and they cannot see what you are up to. They are blinded by your mirror. Their strategy for dealing with you depends on your reacting to them in a way characteristic of you. Neutralize it by playing a game of mimicry with them. The tactic has a mocking, even infuriating effect. Most of us remember the childhood experience of someone teasing us by repeating our words exactly. After a while, usually not long, we wanted to punch them in the face. Working more subtly as an adult, you can still unsettle your opponents this way. Shielding your own strategy with the mirror, you lay invisible traps or push your opponents into the trap they planned for you.
And if you want to learn more about this type of stuff, we're having a seminar in London at the end of July. So if you guys want to attend that seminar, click in the description down below to purchase tickets. And we're also having seminars in the United States this year and next year. So you can see here where I'm going to be going to your city. And you could pre-order the tickets right now before they run out. Honestly, like give him the same energy he's giving you. But when you do see him, communicate that and say, look, Tyrone, right? Or Alex, I've been a little distant because I felt like you've also been a little distant, and I don't want to over, be too pushy about it. But I like you, and I think we have something, but I need to make sure we have the same energy. And whatever he says, if he says, oh, it's because of work, because of this, because of that, if he says he's gonna stop doing that and he's gonna work on it, and he doesn't do that and pulls away again, now we have a problem. Now we have a problem. Now we have a pattern, right? You give him a shot and he says he's not going to do that anymore. Or you ask him, or you even say, how can I help you with this? How can we make it easier? And then he does it again. Then we have a problem because now he's just being disrespectful, right? But for now, we don't know what's going on. And so you have to talk to him. And no, it's not just your imagination. I think you're a confident person, in my opinion. I think you're pretty confident. Now, the issue is this, right? The issue that I'm having is that is the intimidation aspect, right? Well, first of all, when you're around somebody that you find attractive, it's true. You definitely get intimidated. That's a fact. But there are some strategies you could use to unintimidate yourself, right? The first one is doing what I'm telling you. Just making a bold move. Like looking at the bull eyeball to eyeball without flinching.
Audacity separates you from the herd. Boldness gives you presence and makes you seem larger than life. The timid fade into the wallpaper. The bold draw attention, and what draws attention draws power. We cannot keep our eyes off the audacious. We cannot wait to see their next bold move.
Right? Sometimes that making a bold move naturally removes the timidity that you might feel on the inside, right? Now, the next one that you want to do is something that I always tell clients, and you might not be interested in that, but this is something that I like to do, is I like to meditate on my common mortality with people.
Most of us spend our lives avoiding the thought of death. Instead, the inevitability of death should be continually on our minds. Understanding the shortness of life fills us with a sense of purpose and urgency to realize our goals. Training ourselves to confront and accept this reality makes it easier to manage the inevitable setbacks, separations, and crises in life. It gives us a sense of proportion, of what really matters in this brief existence of ours. Most people continually look for ways to separate themselves from others and feel superior. Instead, we must see the mortality in everyone, how it equalizes and connects us all. By becoming deeply aware of our mortality, we intensify our experience of every aspect of life.
Like imagining that people are going to die one day. You see, when you get intimidated by people, there's a certain aura of immortality that gets placed upon them. And you create an illusion of power around them that creates an intimidation. But when you meditate on their mortality and your mortality, not conspiring to kill them. Put the knife down, right? Gee, you're like, oh, I like that idea. No, put the knife down. I mean, this is a psycho, man. When you imagine that, the following tends to happen.
Normally, we go through life in a very distracted, dreamlike state, with our gaze turned inward. Much of our mental activity revolves around fantasies and resentments that are completely internal and have little relationship to reality. The proximity of death suddenly snaps us to attention as our whole body responds to the threat. We feel the rush of adrenaline, the blood pumping extra hard to the brain and through the nervous system. This focuses the mind to a much higher level, and we notice new details, see people's faces in a new light, and sense the impermanence in everything around us, deepening our emotional responses. This effect can linger for years, even decades. We cannot reproduce that experience without risking our lives, but we can gain some of the effect through smaller doses. We must begin by meditating on our death and seeking to convert it into something more real and physical.
Death is the ultimate equalizer. And I'm telling you, anytime you are intimidated by someone, imagine their mortality. I swear to God, you're going to notice it brings them down to size. Because, you see, it's important to realize that whenever you see people, for example, one of the things that I like to do is when I see younger people, I imagine how they're going to look when they're older, right? I imagine them how they're going to look when they become 70, 80. When I see older people, I imagine how they're going to look when they were younger, when they were 20, 30, right? And the reason why you do that, one, it prevents youth envy, and two, it allows you to have a wider perspective on people, where you're not jealous of their youth, but also looking at the older person, it allows you to realize that one day they were young, one day they were vibrant, and you should definitely appreciate what you have right now, right? So that's one of the strategies that I teach. And honestly, not a lot of people are willing to do that because death is something that scares them. But honestly, death is something that frees your mind. It shouldn't make you. It shouldn't shrink you. It should expand the scope of your vision.
Dostoevsky had only a few minutes to prepare himself before he faced the firing squad. In those few minutes, emotions he had never felt before came rushing in. He noticed the rays of light hitting the dome of a cathedral, and saw that all life was as fleeting as those rays. Everything seemed more vibrant to him. He noticed the expressions on his fellow prisoners' faces, and how he could see the terror behind their brave facades. It was as if their thoughts and feelings had become transparent.
Now, how can you navigate this situation without chasing him? Like I said, when you're deep in a relationship, it's important to be able to communicate, right? This is why I have my course, not emotional mastery. There's a lot of new people in this channel, right? And I have two courses for these types of situations. One, the psychological game of attraction, and the other one is natural chemistry. Watch this video where I describe to you these courses, and then we're going to return. All right, so a lot of you guys have been asking me, what other type of courses should I get? Because we have a lot of new subscribers. So the first thing I recommend is that if you're single or in a relationship, we have two courses for you, right? The first one is called the psychological game of attraction, right? This course is specifically made for women who are single, where I will take you through the steps of how to go from being single to having a happy relationship. It's a course that I specifically made to make you feel like you're being coached by me. I'm telling you, like, once you watch this course, you'll know exactly what to do, and most importantly, exactly what not to do. The next one that I have is natural chemistry. This one is a little bit bigger, right? This course is all about how to navigate a relationship and how to create natural chemistry. It's a 6-week course, I believe. Yeah, 6-week course, where the week one, I will teach you the strategies of creating and maintaining a deep connection. The second week, I teach you about male nature. The third week, I teach you about how to control your emotions when you're in love. The fourth week, I teach you how to set boundaries. The fifth week, I teach you how to embrace your masculine and your feminine, which is something that all men love. And then after that, we'll give you a few bonuses But the point of all of this course is to help you how to create and maintain a natural connection with a God without playing games, right? Both of these courses I sell individually for $99. So if you're interested in purchasing with them individually, you can click on the description down below. Or you could get a bundle deal where you could purchase both of them for $150. So you get $50 off. Rather than buying one, you could purchase both of them, okay? So if you guys want to check it out, I'll see you guys inside. And also, it's honestly the best course on the internet about relationships. Like, I know for sure that there's no other courses that presents this material in the way that this material was presented. So click on the description down below. You can check out the testimonials on the website. Like, they're all positive, to be honest with you, and the reason why they're all positive is because the course works. The course works, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, click on the description down below, and I'll see you guys inside. And if you don't like it, there's a 30-day money back guaranteed on the course.
Show them that you're worth pursuing by internally being willing to walk away. First of all, again, people are sending me their pictures a lot. Like, letting me know how they look, right? You're a catch. I'm not gonna lie. You're a catch. And it's funny how other people's perception of us affects how we see ourselves. Where you could be a really good-looking person, and you won't believe it all because one person doesn't like you. You know what I'm saying? You are a catch, and you have to realize that. And the way that you realize it, you see, nothing makes you feel higher, nothing raises your self-esteem than saying no to someone that you like. It hurts, but at the end of the day, when you walk away, you feel better about yourself because you didn't devalue yourself. You see, being a high-value woman is not about consistently feeling good about yourself all the time. It really isn't. Sometimes you feel bad. Sometimes you feel low value. That's a very normal thing. In fact, if you always think that you have this elevated perspective where you're better than everyone else, that's a problem. That's called delusion. Sometimes you do feel bad. Sometimes it's healthy to feel bad because that bad feeling pushes you to grow more. It's what got you here.
As children, our minds were remarkably flexible. We could learn at a rate that far surpasses our adult capacities. We can attribute much of the source of this power to our feelings of weakness and vulnerability. Sensing our inferiority in relation to those older than us, we felt highly motivated to learn. Such influences enriched our mental landscape, and in fact our intelligence depends on the ability to absorb the lessons and ideas of those who are older and wiser. And just as our sense of weakness and vulnerability motivated the desire to learn, so does our creeping sense of superiority slowly close us off to new ideas and influences.
It's what got you here, that bad feeling. So it's a normal thing. I feel bad sometimes too. You know, it's a normal thing. But if you never feel that bad, you're never gonna have any substance. You're never gonna have any true growth, because in order to grow, it requires pain. It requires insecurity. So what you feel is a sign of high value. It's what allows you to grow. What you're doing right now, talking to me, asking me these questions, is a sign to me that you're high value, 100%, without a shadow of a doubt.
Most of us have depressive tendencies and moments. The best way to handle them is to be aware of their necessity. They are our bodies' and minds' way of compelling us to slow down, to lower our energies and withdraw. Depressive cycles can serve positive purposes. The solution is to realize their usefulness and temporary quality. The depression you feel today will not be with you in a week, and you can ride it out. If possible, find ways to elevate your energy level, which will physically help lift you out of the mood. The best way to handle recurrent depression is to channel your energies into work, especially the arts. You are used to withdrawing and being alone. Use such time to tap into your unconscious. Externalize your unusual sensitivity and your dark feelings into the work itself.
How can I navigate this without chasing or making him pull away even more? You can't prevent that. That's a problem. People are unpredictable. You can't predict what people are gonna do. Your only responsibility as a person is to never devalue yourself.
is to never chase someone who you know is not putting in the same effort. How do you know that? You know that. Like, a part of you knows when the person you're talking to is not putting in the effort. You know that deep down. It's a visceral feeling. It's a sensation that you feel on the inside. And it has no words, but it's more of an insecure sensation. And you know what that is. And you have to trust it. Because every time you went against that feeling, you end up looking pretty dumb, right? It's like when somebody's trying to make plans with you, but they're saying to you, I'll let you know I'm a little busy today, and you kind of believe it, but deep down you don't believe it. It's that same feeling, right? How can I show him that I am a high-value woman worth pursuing? If he doesn't know you're a high-value woman by now, he's not going to know a few months from now. There's nothing you can do to show that. Now, one of the ways that it shows, actually, competition does that, actually, right? When he sees that other men are vying for you, it creates that sense of competition, right? Because humans, when they see other humans wanting something, it makes them think, oh my God, if they want it, I should want it. Especially if it's people who they respect, right? The thing is that you're already high value. You are already in a high value position. He knows other men want you. Heck, you're in the model, you're in the fashion industry. So definitely a lot of guys who are good looking who want to be with you. So he knows that. And if he still doesn't recognize that, then unfortunately it is what it is. At the end of the day, you have to be okay with losing in life. That's the most important thing. Prepare for the inevitable.
The ending is everything. Plan all the way to it, taking into account all the possible consequences, obstacles, and twists of fortune that might reverse your hard work and give the glory to others. By planning to the end, you will not be overwhelmed by circumstances, and you will know when to stop. Gently guide fortune and help determine the future by thinking far ahead.
Prepare that some people will leave you. Prepare that the worst thing could happen. And once you accept the worst thing that could happen, you'll notice your confidence rises, because now you're prepared for everything. And now it's like accepting death, right? When you accept the inevitable, when you accept the eternal, when you accept that, everything else in comparison doesn't hurt as much. You know, I've accepted that I'm gonna die many years ago, and I'm totally okay with it. I've been mugged with 2 guns in my head, and I was surprisingly calm, because I'm like, I already thought about this. Like, I remember that. Like, I got mugged in Mexico, and long story short, when the barrel was pointing at me, I remember that feeling. I was super present. Colors became more vibrant. Things became more alive. I could see the fear in the guys who were mugging me, the nervousness in their face. I could hear the birds in the background, the dirt in the ground. The colors became vibrant. I could see the sun. You know, I felt everything. I became super present. I never felt so much peace in my life. And that only happens when the gun barrel of death is pointing at you and you accept it. There is a liberation, a paradox of fear, where when death is looking at you and you accept it, you actually become at peace. You know, so accept the inevitable, man. This might not work out, or it could work out. But the point is that mentality, that mindset is what will marinate your nonverbal cues. And when you talk to him, you're gonna talk with confidence, because you are already prepared for the inevitable.
You are judged in this world by how well you bring things to an end. A messy or incomplete conclusion can reverberate for years to come, ruining your reputation in the process. The art of ending things well is knowing when to stop, never going so far that you exhaust yourself or create bitter enemies that embroil you in conflict in the future. It also entails ending on the right note with energy and flair. It is not a question of simply winning the war, but the way you win it, the way your victory sets you up for the next round. The height of strategic wisdom is to avoid all conflicts and entanglements from which there are no realistic exits.
And that pretty much means you gotta know how far you're gonna chase, right? You gotta know that you're gonna have a limit. You're not gonna get to the point where you beg, right? You gotta know what are you not willing to do. And one of the things you're not willing to do is that when they're not showing you motivation, you're not gonna show motivation, right? If they're not putting in the effort, you're not gonna put in the effort. You're gonna initially try, like I said, right? Because you know them for a while, so you're gonna try, but there's a limit. Sometimes when you let your emotions get the best of you, you end up going further than you imagine, because it's almost like you're looking down and you're not aware how far you've gotten. You're not aware how needy you've gotten. You've gotten to the point where you're begging. You've gotten to the point where you're calling him all the time, and you're on top of it. When sometimes the best thing to do is do nothing and wait, and that reveals more. And that comes down to controlling your anxieties. Pretty much comes down to that. Like, it just comes down to controlling your emotions. And if you don't have proper control over them, you're gonna end up doing things you regret.
It's a paradox. I understand. It's like you're saying, so prepare for him to leave me. Well, no. Yes, I know. If you do this, most likely he's not gonna leave you. I'm telling you. I've had many situations, and you guys know me, right? I don't lie to you guys. I really don't. I don't think he's gonna leave. I just think that he is having a temporary pulling away. It happens to every single person. It just does. How you manage the pulling away is what makes a difference. If you panic, yes, it might come across as weak. But if you do what I just told you, right? Meditate on the inevitable that one day this might end, and unintimidate yourself by meditating. Unintimidate yourself by meditating on your common mortality, where he's gonna die one day and you're gonna die one day, and diminishes the situation for something being great and incredible to a just a temporary thing in the expansion of the eternal time. You'll notice that the feelings will just get a little bit less intense, enough for you to manage, and enough for you to keep a straight face, and enough for you to maintain your equilibrium if something bad happens. Because at the end of the day, it's your fear of losing him that creates the neediness. It's that simple, people. So look, you got this. Don't doubt yourself. You're powerful. You're strong. You got this. Don't let these situations make you doubt who you are as a person. Your value transcends your looks. Your value transcends how you're positioning in life, right? Every single person is worth everything. If you just become present in the moment, breathe, find inner peace inside, you'll realize that that's the true treasure that you have. Because your youth will leave you, your looks will leave you, and if you learn to be happy, devoid of external validation, you'll realize that you have your own ecosystem of positive emotion on the inside. So don't ever forget that. You are worth more than you think you are. There are people in your life that love you for you, devoid of the position that you hold. Never forget that. All right? Thank you. Thank you for listening, people. I hope you guys enjoyed this video.
Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this.
If you guys want to work with me one-on-one through either asking these types of questions, you click in the description down below, or talk to me in private and by clicking on the description down below. And like I said, the most important part is controlling your emotions. And if you want to learn more about that, you could purchase my online course my new course called Emotional Mastery. You can click on the description down below to learn more about it, and I'll see you guys inside.